A very special good afternoon to all the parents, member of the Board of Governors, all boys, faculty. I can see some grandparents here and a couple of my own students who are here today afternoon. So a very warm welcome to all of you, but a very, very special welcome to the guest of honor for this Founders Day 14th October celebrations. Mr. Arvind Vohra, who was till very recently the CEO and Managing Director of Gionee Cell Phones India Limited. While I understand that this is an open house, but we've slightly altered the theme of the open house. So all of you are most welcome to ask the questions and have an interaction with the principal, Dr. Saraswat. But we also have somebody in Mr. Vohra today afternoon whose philosophy and whose persona and whose belief sort of resonates with what Scindia School is all about, and who sort of truly symbolizes what the Scindian spirit is all about. And so we thought that along with Dr. Saraswat, it would be, if we could request Mr. Vohra to also have a chat, a very informal, it is not a premeditated, it is just a very informal chat on anything that you would like to ask, and particularly with particularly which relates to ideas of education, philosophy, or what's happening around the world and what makes an entrepreneur. So very briefly, because I think the enthusiastic parents and teachers are still in some of the rooms, and so we'll be waiting for a while. So very briefly, I would like to talk about Mr. Vohra in few lines, and please pay attention to that. Now, he's a very illogical entrepreneur, and when I say illogical, obviously it's meant to just convey that he follows his heart, and he follows a catchphrase. Last evening, I was honored to have a cup of coffee with him, and he said that he believes that for happiness, there has to be fearlessness. And so, if you're all the time very, very calculative and sane, and if you're all the time logical, probably that's not the way he is, at least. So, the logical entrepreneur and a very zealous philanthropist. So that's his introduction. And before we go on to have this interactive session, I would want you to please watch a short movie on Mr. Vohra, and then we'll follow it up with an interactive session. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Arvind Vohra. Can I have a loud round of applause?
Gionee is a very, very big brand in India, no doubt about that. I think the kind of growth it has and the way it's grown in India is fabulous, and this shows that how successful a person he is as well, and some of the stories about how, like, what he's gone through and how he started it, and how he started Gionee was just unbelievable. And
it's great to be associated with a brand like Gionee, because I feel that what they represent is a very young, youthful, very energetic and very zany vibe. And what I love about Gionee is that they're so innovative. You know, all their campaigns, their ideas, even the products, it's full of innovation. And I think it's great in today's day and age where we need to keep something, to keep going and keep the youth and the people interested.
Well, my association with Arvind, the first time I met him was during the IPL last year in Kolkata, and he spoke briefly on wanting to work together on Gionee, and it's happened now, and it's very exciting as far as the association with the brand is concerned. Obviously, it's a brand that has grown tenfolds over the last couple of years, and it speaks volumes of the hard work that Arvind has put in it, and from where he was to where he has come in life, I think it's quite extraordinary and quite inspiring for a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs who want to come up in the industry, but not everyone has the ability to do it. But that speaks volumes of his willpower and how he's been able to fight the odds and come so far in his life.
आज जब मैं अपने ऑफिस में बैठा था तो मेरे कुलीग दिव्या मेरे पास आई और उसने कहा कि सर आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट करनी है। तो मैंने कहा क्या रिक्वेस्ट करनी है? उसने कहा कि कुछ पेरेंट्स ने ये कहा है कि अगर आप हिंदी में बात करेंगे तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा, क्योंकि अगर आप हिंदी में बात करेंगे तो एक ही बार में सभी लोगों को आपकी बात समझ में आ जाएगी। और मुझे हिंदी में बोलने में किसी भी तरीके की कोई परेशानी, तकलीफ नहीं है, क्योंकि संवाद और कम्युनिकेशन वो है जो मैं कहना चाहूँ आप उसको न केवल शब्दों में बल्कि भाव में भी समझ जाएं, तभी संवाद पूरा होता है। मैं कोशिश करूँगा कि स्कूल की तरफ से जो लेटर्स आप लोगों को जाते हैं वो लेटर्स भी हिंदी में, इंग्लिश और हिंदी दोनों ही भाषाओं में जाना शुरू हो जाए। बच्चे यहाँ पढ़ते हैं, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हम ज़बरदस्ती आप लोगों से भी ये एक्सपेक्ट करें कि आपको वो सभी भाषाएं आनी चाहिए जो भाषाएं विद्यालय में पढ़ाई जाती है। तो इसलिए मैं आज हिंदी में सभी लोगों से बात करूँगा। और जो आज का जो इंटरेक्शन सेशन है उसका प्रारूप बदलने का एक बहुत छोटा सा कारण है कि कुछ समय पहले मैं मिस्टर अरविंद बोरा के ऑफिस में गया था उनसे मिलने के लिए, और वहाँ मिसेस अरविंद बोरा, मोनिका बोरा से भी मेरी मुलाकात हुई। तो जब हम लोग बात कर रहे थे तो बात करते करते बिजनेसमैन खो गया। एक पिता उभर के आया, और उस जैसे ही वो पिता उभर के आया उसके साथ साथ माँ भी उभर के आ गई। और जब माँ और पिता दोनों उभर के आ गए तो एक पेरेंट उभर के आ गए जिनके बच्चों की उम्र हमारे और आपके बच्चों की उम्र है। जीवन के किसी भी मोड़ पर पहुंचने के बावजूद भी माता पिता के जो प्रश्न हैं, माता पिता की जो इनसिक्योरिटीज हैं, बच्चों को लेके जिस तरीके की हमारे मन में आशंकाएं रहती हैं, जिस तरीके का हम भरोसा चाहते हैं बच्चे के भविष्य को लेके, वो सबके मन में एक जैसी होती है। ये बात मैं वहां बैठ के उसका एहसास कर रहा था। 3 तरीके के एहसास थे। एक ये एहसास था कि जब मैं वो एक लंबी वाली अभी मेरे को एक नई चेयर दी है, उस चेयर पर मैं बैठ के जब आप लोगों से बात करता हूँ तो आप लोगों को विश्वास दिलाता हूँ कि सब कुछ ठीक है, और जो आप लोग मुझसे प्रश्न पूछते हैं ये सब बच्चों वाले प्रश्न हैं, फॉरगेट इट, सब ठीक हो जाएगा। लेकिन जब मैं उस कुर्सी पर बैठता हूँ जहाँ आप कभी कभी आके मुझसे मिलते हैं, तब मैं भी सामने वाली कुर्सी से वही प्रश्न करता हूँ। और जो आदमी इस तरीके के स्टार्स को, प्रीमियम स्टार्स को हायर करने की कुव्वत रखता हो, जब वो पिता के रूप में खड़ा होता है तो उसके मन में भी वही प्रश्न उठते हैं। इसलिए मैंने कहा कि जिस तरीके से मैं बच्चों को राइट रेफरेंसेस देने की कोशिश करता हूँ, इस बार का इंटरेक्शन हम राइट रेफरेंस लेके चलेंगे और हम ये समझने की कोशिश करेंगे एक दूसरे की यात्रा को शेयर करके कि अगर हम अपने माता पिता के दायित्व को और अपनी सफलताओं असफलताओं, अपनी आशाओं निराशाओं को अलग अलग करके देखें और अलग अलग तरीके से डील करें, तो शायद हम अपने कर्तव्य को, अपने बच्चों के प्रति जो हमारा कर्तव्य है उसको हम अच्छी तरीके से निभा पाएंगे। और उसका एक ही तरीका है कि हम लोग अपनी कहानी, अपनी सोच एक दूसरे के साथ शेयर करें। हम लोगों को सबको ये समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है, एज एन इंडिविजुअल, एज अ प्रोफेशनल, जिस काम को हम रोज करते हैं उस काम में एफिशिएंसी का आना ज़रूरी है। एफिशिएंसी उसमें आनी ही चाहिए, क्योंकि वही उसका एक नेचुरल फॉल आउट है। लेकिन हम लोगों से अक्सर करके ये गलती हो जाती है कि जिस नज़रिए से, जिस तरीके से हम अपने प्रोफेशनल लाइफ को देखते हैं, उसको हम बच्चे की ग्रोथ के साथ, बच्चे की प्रोग्रेस के साथ जोड़ने की कोशिश करते हैं और उसको हम अलग तरीके से नहीं देख पाते हैं। तो मैंने कहा कि मैं आप लोगों के सामने एक ऐसा रेफरेंस लेके आऊँगा जो प्रोफेशनल वर्ल्ड में फियरलेसनेस के लिए जाना जाता हो, जो बोल्ड स्टेप्स के लिए जाना जाता हो, लेकिन जब वो पिता के रूप में आता है तो वो हमारे और आपकी तरीके से एक सामान्य पिता या सामान्य माँ के उन फियर्स के साथ जूझ रहा है जैसे हम जूझ रहे हैं। जिस दिन हम सब लोग ये जान जाएंगे कि हम एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म पर हैं, तब कम्युनिकेशन, संवाद बेहतर हो जाएगा। फिर हम बिना किसी इनोवेशन के, बिना किसी भय के अपने डरों को, अपनी इनसिक्योरिटीज़ को एक दूसरे के साथ शेयर करेंगे। क्योंकि जब तक ये कम्युनिकेशन ऑनेस्ट नहीं होगा, तब तक हम अपने बच्चों को हेल्प नहीं कर सकते। इन कम्युनिकेशंस का एक ही उद्देश्य है, और वो उद्देश्य ये है कि अगर हमारे और आपके बीच में किसी भी तरीके की कोई दीवार है, वो दीवार टूट जानी चाहिए। क्योंकि पिता के रूप में और माँ के रूप में, चाहे मैं आपके बच्चे के स्कूल का प्रिंसिपल हूँ और आप मेरे लिए सिर्फ पेरेंट हैं, पिता और माता के रूप में हम सब लोग एक समान हैं, हम सब लोग एक बोट में हैं। और अगर हम एक दूसरे के साथ एम्पैथाइज नहीं करेंगे तो हम अपने बच्चों को बेहतर भविष्य या बेहतर कंड्यूसिव एनवायरनमेंट नहीं दे पाएंगे। इसके साथ मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा श्री अर्जुन गोरा से कि वो यहाँ आएँ, अपने मन की कुछ बात करें, और फिर आप हर तरीके का प्रश्न, 2 प्रश्नों को छोड़ के, एक छुट्टी के प्रश्न को छोड़ के, एक धनतेरस के प्रश्न को छोड़ के, सारे के सारे प्रश्न आप कर सकते हैं।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर सारस्वत। मैं भी आपकी तरह कोशिश करूँगा हिंदी में बोलने की, जबकि इस समय सबसे ज़्यादा नर्वसनेस मेरी वाइफ को हो रही है, क्योंकि उसको पता है मेरी हिंदी कितनी अच्छी है। बट अगर पंजाबी यहाँ है सिस्टम में, पाजी जैसे बैठे हैं यहाँ पे, तो पंजाबी में बढ़िया हो। ठीक है। सो मैंने जो सोचा था वो बोलूँगा, लेकिन जो मैं शायद बोलने जा रहा हूँ वो काफ़ी डिफरेंट होगा। बट हमेशा यही रहा है कि कुछ ऐसी बात करें जो दिल को छू जाए, या कुछ ऐसी बात करें जो आपको याद रहे। नहीं तो फिर फ़ायदा नहीं होता, एक लेक्चर की तरह स्कूल में सुन के आप लोग चले जाएंगे। सो सबसे पहले डॉक्टर साहब, थैंक्स टू यू, थैंक्स टू एवरीबॉडी, क्योंकि आज आपने मेरे को फिर मौका दिया यंग इंडिया के साथ रूबरू होने का। आई मीन इट्स वेरी वेरी नाइस टू फेस यंग इंडिया एवरी नाउ एंड देन। हर एक माता पिता को एक चिंता होती है कि मेरा बच्चा आगे क्या करेगा। आपके माँ बाप को भी थी, आप कहीं तक पहुँच गए, सो आपका भी बच्चा आगे चले जाएगा। बट फ़र्क ये है कि आज से 20-25 साल पहले, यहाँ जब मैं 87 में स्कूल से निकल रहा था, या मेरे माता पिता को सोच थी, तब अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ बहुत लिमिटेड थी। आज के समय हिंदुस्तान ने इतनी तरक्की कर ली है और हिंदुस्तान में इतनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं कि विदेश में या कोई भी देश हो, या कोई भी बिजनेस हो, या कोई भी कंपनी हो, अगर उसे ग्लोबल स्केल पे काम करना है तो हिंदुस्तान की मार्केट को कोई इग्नोर नहीं कर सकता। तो मैं सब पेरेंट्स को ये कहूँगा कि जो अपॉर्चुनिटी आप लोगों के पास थी आज से 25 साल पहले, मेरे ख्याल तभी आप पेरेंट्स बने होंगे, इतना टाइम हो गया होगा, बट अनलेस समबडी मेड इट फास्टर। सो 25 साल पहले जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ थी और 25 साल बाद आज जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं, उसमें बहुत फ़र्क है। और जिस नज़रिए से हम लोग अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ को देखते थे और जिस नज़रिए से आज आपको दुनिया को देखना है, उसमें बहुत अंतर है। सो मेरे हिसाब से मैं जब डॉक्टर साहब का एक नोट पढ़ रहा था सिंधिया स्कूल पे, तो वहाँ से मैंने कुछ बातें उठाई और मुझे उसको सुपर इम्पोज किया कि मैं क्या सोचता हूँ. सो मेरे लिए सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़, कल रात को हम साहिल साहब से विशेष से बात कर रहे थे, सो मैंने सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ मेरे लिए है टू बी हैप्पी. सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है टू बी हैप्पी. आई मीन अगर आप जैसे बच्चे को कहें साइंस कर ले और करना उसको कॉमर्स है और उसकी खुशी नहीं है और उसके बाद अब उसको डंडे मारते जाएं, तो इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू मेक सेंस. सो मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग फॉर यू एज अ पेरेंट is to ensure that you instill one value in your children which is about happiness. खुश रहेगा मुंडा सब कुछ ठीक रहेगा. ठीक कह रहे बाजी?
बिल्कुल ठीक है.
ठीक है जी. Now if you have to ensure that your kids are happy, आपको उनको ये भी सिखाना पड़ेगा कि डर रहित रहो. Be fearless. Don't worry about what the world has to say because that's their job. दुनिया का काम है कहना. So please remain fearless. The third thing that I want to tell you is लिखा था मैंने काफी कुछ, but it's going in a different direction. Third thing that I want to tell you is be resilient. I mean आप गिरोगे, जब बच्चा शुरू में चलना सीखता है तो कितने ज्यादा उसके घुटने चल जाते हैं, बट जब वो 12वीं 10वीं 12वीं में आता है वो चाहते हैं वो गिरे नहीं. गिरेगा नहीं तो सीखा क्या कैसे? So I think be resilient, let the kid try and let him keep on trying till he succeeds. And one more thing that is very important is as a parent जो आपको सिखाना चाहिए कि तुम अपनी डिसीजन खुद लो. अगर आप अपने बेटे या बेटी को कहते हो कि नहीं डिसीजन मैं लूंगा, so then you're not being a parent, you're actually being a jailer, right? And last but not the least, अपने बच्चों को एक चीज जरूर सिखाइएगा, to start to think beyond themselves. अपने beyond सोचिए, don't just think about yourself. I mean, I think I'll just leave it with these 4-5 things. And जिंदगी में ये सब चीज़ें बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. अगर मैं अपनी बात करूँ तो 1970 में जब मेरा जन्म हुआ था, फैमिली में कुछ ऐसे हालात थे कि आई वॉज अ सन इन दी फैमिली. तो दिल्ली से मर्सिडीज गई चंडीगढ़ और चंडीगढ़ से फिर वो मर्सिडीज मेरे को शिमला लेके गई. 1994 में जब मैं दिल्ली आया तो मेरे पास बस टिकट के पैसे नहीं थे. आज भी अगर कोई कीर्ति नगर पुलिस स्टेशन जाए तो वहाँ मेरा रिकॉर्ड है, वहाँ मेरी पिटाई हुई थी, डंडे पड़े थे. बट लास्ट ईयर एज अ फैमिली बिजनेस हमने लगभग 4,000 करोड़ का कारोबार किया. बट दैट्स हिस्ट्री. व्हाट इज मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर मी इज व्हेन यू स्टार्ट योर लाइफ, आप जाने जाते हो मैं किसका बेटा हूँ, फिर आप जाने जाते हो आप कौन से स्कूल में पढ़ते हो, फिर आप जानने जाते हो आप कौन सी एरिया में रहते हो, कौन सी गाड़ी चलाते हो, उसके बाद यू नोन बाय कौन सी कंपनी में काम करते हो. बट एंड ऑफ द डे आज जब हम यहाँ सब बैठे हैं, इट्स ऑल अबाउट बीइंग अ पेरेंट. सो मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इज हु आर यू. यू गॉट टू डिस्कवर योरसेल्फ. हु आर यू एज अ पेरेंट. सो आज अगर मेरे से पूछें, आई एम गोइंग टू बी अबाउट 47 इन दिसंबर, बट आज 47 साल बाद मुझे ये समझ आता है कि आई एम अ पेरेंट, आई एम अ फादर ऑफ 2 boys, husband of 1 wife, and a son of 2 individuals who people say मेरे पेरेंट्स मेरे साथ रहते हैं. मैं अक्सर कहता हूँ मैं अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ रहता हूँ, बिकॉज जब आप पेरेंट्स की बात करते हैं इट इज़ नेवर अबाउट हु इज़ फंडिंग द हाउस, इट्स अबाउट हु यू स्टेइंग विद. सो मेरे हिसाब से my proud introduction today is of a family man, and the bigger thing that I'm very proud about is I have my younger son Aryan here, who's a cancer survivor, and while Aryan was fighting his cancer, आरोहन की इस दुनिया से हम बिल्कुल दूर हो गए थे, क्योंकि हम लोग एक साल में 100 दिन हॉस्पिटल में रहते थे, तो वो अपनी लड़ाई एक लड़ रहा था अपने आप से. सो मेरी इंट्रोडक्शन सिर्फ ये है कि मैं एक फादर हूँ. कोई मायने नहीं रखता मैंने क्या किया, ये मायने रखता है कि मैं एक कैंसर सर्वाइवर का फादर हूँ. मेरे बेटे ने उस दौड़ में मेरा साथ दिया, बड़े वाले ने, और आज एज अ फैमिली हम क्या करें, जीवनी में मैंने क्या किया, आगे मैं क्या करने जा रहा हूँ, मेरे लिए इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. बट मेरे लिए आज की डेट में सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट 2 काम है जो मैं करता हूँ. एक ये कि आज जब मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ, अब मेरा एक कैंसर सर्वाइवर नहीं है, मेरे अब 425 बच्चे हैं जो कहीं ना कहीं कैंसर से लड़ रहे हैं, जिनका हम ख्याल करते हैं. और एक क्योंकि हम बिजनेस चलाते हैं तो बिजनेस में अक्सर अप्स एंड डाउन आते हैं, मुसीबतें आती हैं, सब चीज़ सोशल सिक्योरिटी और इंश्योरेंस से नहीं होता। सो विद इन हमारे सोर्स में हमने क्राउड फंडिंग शुरू की है, क्योंकि आज डिस्पोजेबल इनकम्स बढ़ गई हैं। सो अगर कभी भी हमारे 25,000 लोगों में कोई भी तकलीफ आ जाए, इंश्योरेंस को जो करना है वो करेगा, लेकिन हम लोग इंश्योर करेंगे कि वो फैमिली कभी भी परेशानी में न आए। लास्ट एग्जाम्पल जो हमारा था वो वी लॉस्ट कुलीग ऑफ आवर्स, जब भी सोचता हूँ रोंगटे खड़े हो जाते हैं, बट उसका अक्सर एक रहता था कि सर मुझे एक घर बनाना है। सो आज आपको मैं प्राउडली कह सकता हूँ कि आशीष के जाने के बाद आज उसकी फैमिली अपने घर में रहती है और लगभग आई थिंक 20-22 लाख की राशि हमारे सब लोगों ने कलेक्ट करके दी। हमें कोई सरकार की ज़रूरत नहीं थी, हमें किसी इंश्योरेंस की ज़रूरत नहीं थी। सो मैं आपसे सिर्फ यही कहूँगा एज अ पेरेंट, टीच योर चिल्ड्रन टू रिमेन हैप्पी, टीच देम टू बी fearless, allow them to be resilient, let them make their own decisions, and last but not the least, tell them to think about people beyond themselves, because when you start thinking about beyond yourself, you will start thinking and paying back to this Bharat Mata or to this country. Thanks a lot, Dr. साहब, आपने मुझे एक बार फिर मौका दिया यंग इंडिया के समक्ष आने का। और एक बात आपसे कहना चाहूँगा कि 5 सितंबर हर साल मैं आज भी अपनी टीचर्स को फ़ोन करता हूँ, और अगर 9-9:30 बजे तक शाम को फ़ोन नहीं जाए तो टीचर्स का फ़ोन आना शुरू हो जाता है, भाई तुम ठीक हो कि नहीं। सो टीचर्स और स्टूडेंट्स का बॉन्ड रहेगा, बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग रहेगा, और बोर्डिंग में अक्सर ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग हो जाता है, क्योंकि घर पे तो ये लोग अच्छी हरकतें करते हैं, जो करना होता है यहीं करेंगे। सो ऑल आई कैन टेल यू इज़ थैंक्स अ लॉट डॉक्टर साहब फॉर गेटिंग मी हियर and getting me to face young India. Thanks a lot, and wish you all good luck. And I'll be happy if I can answer some questions. Thank you.
A wonderful, this emotional and purposeful climate environment here. If I could request some of the parents to please shoot some questions.
नमस्कार सभी को, नमस्कार। सर मैं आपसे एक ही सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ, ये संतुष्टि का भाव कब आभास हुआ? मर्सिडीज में जाने में, सब कुछ खोने में, या कीर्तिनगर थाने में मार पड़ने में, या 4,000 करोड़ के बन गए हैं तब, या एक को घर दे दिया तब, या आज हम यहाँ बैठे हैं आप उस सीट पे बैठे हैं तब? संतुष्टि का भाव आ गया है या आएगा?
तो संतुष्टि बहुत ही रिलेटिव है। जिसने एक बड़ी अच्छी चीज कही थी, मतलब मनी हैज नो वैल्यू व्हेन यू हैव इनफ, राइट? सो जो आपका आज टॉपिक है आपके बच्चों को लेके, इट्स अबाउट आप उनको कैसे कॉम्पिटेंट बनाएं। मैं आपसे सिर्फ शेयर कर रहा हूँ जो मैं करता हूँ। जहाँ तक संतुष्टि का भाव है, मुझे भी शायद नहीं पता किस स्टेज पे आया, लेकिन मुझे जो लगता है, जब मैं शायद अपोलो हॉस्पिटल के कॉरिडोर्स में बैठता था और सच्चे बादशाह को कहता था कि भाई वाहिगुरु यहाँ तो पहुँचा दिया, बेटे को ठीक करा दे, तो तब समझ आया कि ये जिंदगी एक मर्सिडीज, एक 4,000 करोड़ एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा के बारे में नहीं है। और अगर मैं अपनी ग्रोथ देखूं तो ग्रोथ तब आई जब इन चीज़ों के बारे में बॉदर करना बंद कर दी। एग्जैक्टली। सो इफ़ यू आस्क मी, मेरे केस में एक धक्का लगने के बाद, बट मैं आपसे एक्सपीरियंस शेयर कर रहा हूँ कि वो धक्का ना लगे उससे पहले आपको संतुष्टि आ जाए।
धक्के सीखने को मिलेगा।
हाँ, बस मैं यही कह रहा हूँ कि अगर एक दूसरे सीख ले तो धक्के की जरूरत नहीं है।
एग्जैक्टली, थैंक यू।
के लिए कर रहे हैं, इसमें मेरा आपको जस्ट छोटा सा सुझाव है। एक थिएटर गैराज प्रोजेक्ट है, उनका रेड नोज क्लाउनिंग कॉन्सेप्ट है, वो भी इसी कैंसर पे काम करता है। और जब बच्चा या कोई भी कैंसर पेशेंट डिप या इमोशनली लो होता है तो ह्यूमर के साथ उसको अप करते हैं। आप शायद चाहें तो उनसे रास्ता रख सकते हैं और एक मदद मिल सकती है। दूसरा, प्लीज
सर वो आप मुझे उनका एड्रेस दे दीजिएगा, जो भी ये प्रैक्टिस करते हैं।
हाँ, दिल्ली बेस्ड है वो।
हाँ जी,
दिल्ली बेस्ड है।
हाँ, तो विल डेफिनेटली इंश्योर, क्योंकि आज भी जो आप कह रहे हैं वो हम करते हैं। जब पेरेंट्स और बच्चे दोनों मेंटली डाउन हो जाते हैं, तो हम लोग अक्सर जाके उनसे बात करते हैं, हमारे कुछ वॉलंटियर्स हैं जो जाके बात करते हैं, बट अगर कुछ साइंटिफिक है इसके बारे में तो आई वुड लव टू एक्सप्लोर।
वो क्लाउनिंग वर्कशॉप करते हैं उसको अप करने के लिए। सेकेंडली, जब यही बच्चे बाद में प्रोफेशनल कॉलेज में पहुंच जाएंगे, आप एक सक्सेसफुल कंपनी चला रहे हैं, जो प्रोफेशनल कॉलेज का जो आज हाल है इस देश में, 70% इंजीनियर्स आर ईदर अंडर एम्प्लॉयड और अनएम्प्लॉयड, एंड आउट ऑफ देम 70% आर IT। क्या आप ऐसा सोचते हैं कि एज ए कंपनी किसी प्रोफेशनल कॉलेज को गोद लें और उसके जो बच्चे हैं उसको एक क्वालिटी एजुकेशन साथ पे साथ देते चलें, और सो दैट उसको ये एश्योरेंस भी रहे कि हाँ इस कंपनी की रिक्वायरमेंट ये कॉलेज पूरा कर रहा है, इंडस्ट्री इंस्टीट्यूशन इंटरफेस, और जहाँ बच्चा एक निर्भय होकर जो हम बात कर रहे हैं वो बाहर निकलता है कि हाँ एक मेरे को सिक्योरिटी है, मेरे को कॉन्सेप्चुअल का लर्निंग है।
लेकिन मेरे हिसाब से सिक्योरिटी इज द बिगेस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ इनसिक्योरिटी। सो सिक्योरिटी इज योर बिगेस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ इनसिक्योरिटी। जिस दिन आपने ये कर दिया तो सॉरी लफ्ज़ मेरे पे जो जहन में आ रहे हैं, गधे और घोड़े में फ़र्क नहीं रहेगा, और हमें अपने बच्चों को घोड़ा बनाना है। We have to make them empowered. We don't have to make them move on crutches of help. So that's my advice to you as a parent. In fact, that's one of the reasons it could actually go into a socio-political kind of a situation, but that is also one of the reasons कि हमारे यहाँ काफ़ी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है। पैराडॉक्सिकल है कि अच्छे लोगों को नौकरी नहीं मिलती और जिनके लिए शायद कई बार रिजर्वेशन है उन्हें नौकरी मिल जाती। सो आई थिंक सिक्योरिटी इज द वर्स्ट फॉर्म ऑफ इनसिक्योरिटी यू कुड ब्रिंग टू एनीबॉडी।
जिस तरीके की मानसिकता से देश बाहर निकल रहा है उसको हम इन्फीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स कहते हैं, और ये इस देश का दुर्भाग्य है कि सब कुछ होने के बावजूद भी, और जैसा अभी अरविंद जी ने कहा था कि कोई भी ऐसा प्रोडक्ट नहीं है जो हिंदुस्तान के बिना जिसको सक्सेस मिले। इतना पोटेंशियल होने के बावजूद भी एक देश के रूप में हम इन्फीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स से बाहर नहीं निकले हैं। उस इन्फीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स की वजह से जब भी कोई एक सिचुएशन आती है तो उस सिचुएशन की में जो वीकनेसेस हैं कि मैं इससे बाहर कैसे निकलूं, और या मैं वो कौन से बहाने ढूंढूं जिसकी वजह से मैं दूसरे से कह पाऊँ कि मैं क्यों फेलियर हो गया, वो हमारे दिमाग में सबसे पहले आते हैं। हम रास्ता कैसे निकालें वो नहीं आता, क्योंकि ऑल ऑफ अस लैक इन कॉन्फिडेंस। और अपने बच्चों को हमको इस चीज़ के लिए, आपने एक शब्द का पर शायद सभी लोगों ने ध्यान नहीं दिया कि जो रेजिलियंस शब्द का जो प्रयोग किया था वो समझना हम लोगों को बहुत ज़रूरी है। सबसे पहले अपने बच्चों को ये आत्मविश्वास दिलाना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि तुम किसी भी परिस्थिति में क्यों न रहो, इस जीवन को अच्छी तरीके से जिया जा सकता है। दूसरा ये कि उस अच्छी तरीके की डेफिनेशन क्या है। वो अच्छी तरीके का जीवन का मतलब है सेल्फ रेस्पेक्ट किसी के लिए, सेल्फ एस्टीम किसी के लिए, दूसरे के लिए एक मर्सिडीज, तीसरे के लिए चार्टर प्लेन। सो देन अगेन इट्स वेरी वेरी रिलेटिव। नेवरदीलेस जिसका अपना जो क्राइटेरिया है, और हर आदमी का अपना क्राइटेरिया होना चाहिए सेटिस्फेक्शन का, लेकिन उसे अपने ऊपर आत्मविश्वास होना बहुत ज़रूरी है। और ये आत्मविश्वास तब तक नहीं आता जब तक मुझे आप चैलेंज नहीं करते, जब तक आप मुझे ऐसी सिचुएशन में खड़ा नहीं करते जहां मैं स्वयं अपने आप को ये एहसास दिला पाऊँ, यस आई कैन डू इट। लेकिन कितने माँ बाप हैं, इंक्लूडिंग मी, मैं आपको बहुत साफ शब्दों में बता रहा हूँ, कितने ऐसे माँ बाप हैं जो हम अपने बच्चों को चैलेंज करते हैं। Would I allow my daughter to travel by second class without reservation from Bombay to Delhi? And if I am not able to allow her, when would I get to know that she is a survivor or she can survive on her own? Because in my life, in her life of 22 years, I have not given her even a single opportunity where I could see her mettle as a survivor. And then I want her to become a survivor. So what has happened, unfortunately, one is that as a nation we have not been able to come out of that inferiority complex. So our natural bent of mind is very, very negative. We try to escape from each problem. And second is that this generation of parents, which includes me, that we are so scared of giving challenges to our kids and we have become overprotective. तो उनमें इसीलिए ये इस तरीके के हम प्रश्न अपने आप से पूछते हैं और इनका डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली हमारे बच्चों के ऊपर असर पड़ता है. हम अपने बच्चों को बारिश में नहीं भीगने देते, हम उनको नंगे पैर खेलने नहीं देते, हम पेड़ पर चढ़ने नहीं देते, हम पत्थर से उनको फूलों को तोड़ने के लिए नहीं देते, हम उनको क्यारी में हाथ गंदे नहीं करने देते. ओ छी, ये तो जर्म्स आ जाएंगे, हम उनको तुरंत डिटॉल से धुला देते हैं. अब वो नालियों में से बॉल निकाल के और पीछे अपने शॉर्ट से पहुंचने वाले हाथ और फिर उसी से घर में जाके रूह अफ़ज़ा पीना और मठरी खाना और मम्मी से थप्पड़ खाना, कहाँ हैं वो सारे एक्सपीरियंसेस? And just look at yourself, look at your level of confidence, look at your attributes as survivors, and what are we transferring to our kids? Actually, not even 10% of what we have learned, we have gone through. So, I am with Arvind in the sense that a lot of security has made us quite insecure, और उसने हमारी नींद खराब कर दी है, हम लोग रेस्टलेस हो गए हैं और इन अ वे जीना भी भूल गए हैं. बहुत डर के हम लोगों ने जीना शुरू कर दिया है. तो मुझे कभी, आई एम सो सॉरी, प्लीज़ डोंट टेक मी अदरवाइज, अब मैं बहुत खुल के और साफ बात करता हूँ सभी लोगों से. 2% कम हो जाते हैं तो आवाज़ आने लगती है, सर आपको मालूम है उसके 2% कम हो गए. अरे भाई 2% कम हो गए, 4% अगले हफ्ते बढ़ जाएंगे, अगले महीने बढ़ जाएंगे. तो 5% पे सांस ऊपर नीचे हो जाती है. फेल होने पर सोचो कि माँ का हार्ट बिल्कुल ही सिंक होता है. ऐसा लगता है कि बच्चे का भविष्य क्लास 6 में मैथमेटिक्स में फेल होने के बाद बच्चे का भविष्य हमेशा के लिए बंद हो गया और आईआईटी कानपुर के जो गेट खुले हुए थे वो बंद हो गए. ऐसा नहीं है, जीवन तो हर दिन जीना पड़ता है. एवरी डे लाइफ इज चेंजिंग. आई ऑलवेज टेल माय colleagues that the boy who is entering in your class is different from the boy who will leave the class after 40 minutes. So life is changing every minute, but we are still stuck with our own thoughts of security. किसको क्या मालूम 10 साल के बाद क्या होगा? मैं तो ये पूछ रहा हूँ, पानी भी होगा कि नहीं होगा, सांस लेने के लिए हवा भी होगी कि नहीं होगी, ये धरती भी होगी कि नहीं होगी, और हम सिर्फ अपने बच्चों के प्रोफेशन के बारे में सोच रहे हैं. The point is that we have to teach our kids to make every day count for, whether they are engaging themselves meaningfully on daily basis or not. And believe me, the day you and me together can achieve that we ensure that our kids engage themselves meaningfully on day-to-day basis, then we won't be asking these questions to each other. That's my take.
स्पेलिंग है आज, डिसीजन मेकिंग की वही स्पेलिंग है, बट समवेयर डाउन द लाइन वो सोशल चीज़ों पे हमने इसको आधारित कर दिया. सो वी फील वैल्यू इज इरोडिंग. सो कल भी जो मैंने आपसे कहा कि एज लॉन्ग एज यू फोकस ऑन योर कोर वैल्यू, मुझे हैप्पी रहना है और कम वॉट में मुझे हैप्पी रहना है, सो देन देयर इज नो इरोजन. बट व्हेन यू से मुझे हैप्पी रहना है एंड सोशली भी अच्छा दिखना है हैप्पी रह के, then you start eroding the value की दुनिया क्या कह रही है. So I think erosion is something which we have contributed, whether it is erosion of value, it's erosion of soil, it's erosion of oil, we've contributed to it. आज की डेट में फैक्ट ऑफ द मैटर मीन्स कि एसी के बगैर नींद नहीं आती है, मुझे भी नहीं आती, राइट? सो आप इतना नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज इरोड कर रहे हो, कुछ नहीं हो रहा, सडनली अनाउंस हो जाएगा, यू नो, फ्रॉम ऑयल विल मूव टू इलेक्ट्रिक, ऑल इरोजन. सो टेक्निकली कोर वैल्यू अगर आपकी फर्म है, and if you're not trying to please the society at large, I don't see any erosion. But if you start questioning your core value because आपको 10 लोगों को please करना है, तो you'll erode value.
So if the stakes are very high on the core value, there is no erosion of value. There is
No erosion of value.
So how do we teach students, or how do we create a society like that where people are more, they gravitate towards their core values? How do we approach with that?
So I think Dr. Saraswat's 4-line note at the beginning of what you sent me embodies everything. It talks about preparing children for the future. It talks about decision making. It talks about being a good citizen. Keep these values, everything is fine. Don't erode those values, right? And secondly, as you rightly said, I am a proud father. My son flunked his maths in 6th. Aryan, you can raise your hand to tell them that you flunked in 6th. And we are very proud about it. No problem. Right? Now this you could call it as a value erosion, a parent trying to show in front of 200 parents that his son flunked. Is it value erosion? Somebody will get up and say it's value erosion. But I want to keep myself happy. I want to keep my son happy about it. Right? So I think if you decide ये 5 चीज़ें मुझे करनी है और ये 5 चीज़ें आधारित है किसी रिसर्च पे या डेटा पे या कुछ भी, हिंदुस्तान में अपॉर्चुनिटी बढ़ती जा रही है, डोंट वरी. इस समय जो हिंदुस्तान की स्थिति है, इतनी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, everybody has to come to India, investment has to come to India, business has to come to India. Don't worry, the whole world is worried about India. As parents, don't worry, your children will do very well, just make them good citizens.
Thank you. Please, Jen, can we have the mic there behind? Yeah.
Just one question out of the discussion which was put forth by Dr. Saraswat. जैसे ये बात हो रही है कि हम लोग अपने बच्चों के साथ ओवर सिक्योरिटी देना चाह रहे हैं और उसी में इनसिक्योरिटी आ रही है. Actually, sir, there is a contradiction, and this contradiction has been posed to parents by the system itself. Point is कि एक तरफ हमारा एजुकेशन सिस्टम है, उसका ग्रेडिंग सिस्टम है, उसका एग्जामिनेशन सिस्टम है, और दूसरी तरफ फिर उसका वैल्यूएशन सिस्टम है, और वैल्यूएशन सिस्टम के साथ एग्जाम के रिजल्ट्स हैं, एग्जाम के रिजल्ट्स के साथ बच्चे के हायर एजुकेशन सिस्टम डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड है. इनसिक्योरिटी यहाँ से आती है कि सपोज एनी चाइल्ड इज नॉट डूइंग वेल इन एकेडमिक्स, वी कैन लीव हिम दैट ही कैन डू व्हाटएवर ही वांट्स टू डू इन हिज लाइफ. बट द प्रॉब्लम कम्स व्हेन इन द एजुकेशन सिस्टम, इन द एग्जामिनेशन सिस्टम एंड ग्रेडिंग सिस्टम, the relevant results are not coming out, and thereafter he is now at the receiving end from the education system of the country itself. So how to reconcile this contradiction? I would like to have something from Dr. Saraswat as academic expert.
No, I am not. So the first we would have to look into the data of the jobs which you get out of your academic qualification. How many jobs do you have in India which are based on your academic qualification? That's one. Two is that it is only the marks, it is only the education which makes you secure or insecure. And if you look at the ratio of successful and unsuccessful people, you would see that higher the qualification, better the server or oblique servant you become. This entire education system teaches you to serve. And what I am talking about is that I am talking about taking your own responsibility. The most unfortunate part of today's psyche is that everything revolves around marks, because we have got this misconception that if you get good marks, then your life is secured. Tell me that if marks were the only thing to look at, or that was the only criteria to feel the child or give the child the sense of security, why IAS officers are committing suicide, why IITs are committing suicide, why boys, young men and women are getting into drugs despite being the best in academics. As a society, as a community, we have lost the focus entirely. And that's the most unfortunate part of this society. We are not interested, we are not keen on the person. We are not keen on the core at all. You are a good child if you do well academically. You are a good child if you do well in competitions. And you are not a good child if you fail. You are not a good child if you come last in the race. And we have mixed up the person and the livelihood. I wish we could understand, and if we have not been able to understand this, understand it forever, that life and livelihood are two different things. If you take care of the person, if you are able to take care of the life, then livelihood can be looked after in any manner. This education which you are talking about, the marks you are talking about, is only a certificate, a passport for livelihood. It's not a passport for life. And if I have looked after, if I have, ensured that my child is growing as a fine, balanced, confident, happy person, how difficult would it be to earn livelihood? But from day one, if you focus only on the livelihood, then your IAS officer is going to commit suicide. IIT is going to be on drugs forever. And that's where we have faltered as parents. Livelihood is not dependent on mark sheet. Let's correct our references. I'm sure that you can get better jobs, you can earn better money, but that is not the only way to earn better livelihood. There are several thousand other ways to earn better livelihoods. And I'm giving you this reference out of my experience, there is nothing idealism in it at all. If you are a good shoemaker in today's time, you can earn millions. One piece of handmade shoe will cost you more than 50,000 rupees. But would you allow your child to become a shoemaker? Would you send him to an IIT where class 10 fail boys go because of this social taboo? Because that's the only place where he will learn how to make shoes. And if people, and I'm sure that few of you must be doing the same, people going for their stitching of the jacket to Singapore or to London to a specific tailor. He didn't go to Harvard. But he is earning millions and billions. The thing which we have to teach our kids is that if you are good at this field or at this attribute, you should excel. What you have to teach him is perseverance. What you have to teach him, resilience. What you have to teach him, that have confidence in what you have. The person sitting in front and talking to you had to leave mathematics in class 9. Did it make me any inferior compared to any other classmate or the people sitting in front of me? But it's a very, very sad state that our parameters are incorrect, and these parameters are grossly incorrect. My every endeavor is and will always remain to look after the person within the child. And if I am able to look after that person, if I am able to give or help the child to define himself or herself as a person, then my work is done. Then what he does with his life is up to him, because he has been able to understand himself. He has been able to understand his strengths. He has been able to understand his weaknesses. And to earn livelihood is the least important thing in our lives, and should be the least important thing in our life, because it happens automatically. That's my take. I could be wrong as far as your assessment of life is concerned, but my focus as a teacher, my focus as a parent is on the child, is on the core of the child, not on the ways of livelihood. As Arvind has also mentioned, that how the word, professional word, is going to change tomorrow. Whatever we are teaching today will be and could be irrelevant for tomorrow's professions. When we were learning, we had never heard of computers, never ever. But now we have learned, because there was a need. And how could I learn and the person sitting beside me couldn't learn? Because I had confidence in me. That person did not have. So teach them adaptability. So my friends, we have to look at the big picture of life. And again, I will go back to that we have become actually rather overprotective. These are our insecurities which we are putting or transferring to our kids. That's my take, an extremely personal opinion. It is up to you that how much of this you appreciate or you don't appreciate it at all. Nevertheless, endeavor of this school has been the person always, and it will continue. On the other hand, side by side, we also equip the child to earn a decent, respectable livelihood.
I remember a couple of years back, it was only about being a doctor or an engineer. Now you talk about musicians, you talk about computer science engineers, now you talk about hackers. A couple of years back, hacking was a bad thing. But today the government of India organizes a hackathon. Right? So I think new age professions are yet to see entry into the curriculum. But if, I always have this debate about being educated or being literate. Right? So in my opinion, and as Dr. Saab also said, idea is to get a person out of an institute and not to get a report card out of the institute. If you get the right person out, and you give that person confidence that ja beta jo karna hai ya simran ji le apni zindagi, that kind of a situation, then you're going to be in a situation where the world is providing nth opportunity to India. And when Dr. Saraswat asked my sons, what do you want to be, and he got some very funny answers. One guy said, I want to be a DJ. The second guy said, I want to be a badminton player. But they're still going to school. Thank you.
For both of you, it might be a vague question, an awkward question for you. Me and my wife, we both are doctors. So, मैं भी चाहता था कि मेरा बेटा कहीं अच्छे स्कूल में पढ़े. So पता नहीं कहाँ से बचपन से था कि सिंधिया का नाम सुना था. So that's was one reason. So this year he joined 8th in your institution. जब हम सोच रहे थे दोनों पेरेंट्स की कौन कौन से स्कूल अच्छे हैं, इनको कहाँ पे डालना है. I have one daughter and one son. सारा कुछ डिस्कस हो गया, अच्छा होगा, फाइनलाइज हो गया, बाकी स्कूल से भी कंपैरिजन किया. My wife asked me just last के we can think, but it is a boys school, not a co-ed school. I was studying in co-ed school. I'm talking in a different tone and a different aspect. Because of the different things going on in the society regarding erosion, you talked about the erosion of the moral values. Yesterday's decision regarding Arushi's parents' acquittal on that side. So, I don't know. This is a vague question. Do you justify this thing that being only boys' school, are we depriving our boys from something of the moral, not moral, biological balance? Just, I'm requested you. So you can throw some light on this, because this is just vague apprehension. Thank you.
Very, very diplomatic. No, I am with you. As a father, I am with you that if these boys get the opportunity to study with girls, chances are that they will be better behaved, maybe more motivated. Maybe we can expect more balanced behavior, for sure. But if I look at boys of Scindia School, and I'm talking after my experience of 30 years teaching in all boys school only, I have actually never experienced that these boys are lacking in any kind of exposure as far as that relationship is concerned. And I quite often ask myself that why is it so? Because when I started as a teacher, then it was a different thing altogether. So one is, and you can give a lot of credit to yourself for this, that most of these boys come from such civilized and modest backgrounds that they actually, by the time they are in class 11, they don't understand, consciously they don't have that sexual bias in them. Believe me, I am making a statement on behalf of my boys, whom I give left and right every morning and evening, calling them uncouth boys, that they come from such backgrounds that there is usually, in 90% of cases, there is no sexual bias in these boys. They could be rowdy, they could be uncouth in their behavior, but as far as mindset is concerned, they are very simpleton. So that's one. Two is that by the time they come in class 10, their interaction with so many schools, co-ed schools and international school, increases so much that at least 80% of them have their friends oblique girlfriends in different schools. So all those parents who don't support their kids interact with their girlfriends and friends through mails, but all those parents who don't listen to me, when they give their mobile phones, then they also interact through WhatsApp and chat messages. That's a statement which I have made. So I really don't see that these kids are lacking in any sense. Am I right in saying so? Ask him. I wish, is Jenny there, Pawan Jenny there? He's much bolder than him. Have I represented you rightly or not? So say, sir is right. Tell them. Tell them. जोर से बोल के दो. Look. But at times I also feel that I wish I had girls, and it would have been much better for me as an administrator. Okay, are we done? Okay.
Right, thank you. Also,
just to share with you, I studied in an all-boys school, right? And the benefit that I got was when I went to a co-ed college, we were just talking about it, HR College of Commerce and Economics, Bombay. HR was known as House of Romance, and less for its stuff. And believe you me, I was the most sought-after guy.
No, just one more point on this, and it's jokes apart. Whenever I would get an opportunity to interact with the spouses of alumni, Scindians, and if I ask, which I invariably ask, that what is that special about your husband, without exception, all these spouses have said that we could not have asked for anything better than married to a Scindian. And these men will also, tell me that if you have to find out anything about Scindian, ask our wives. And so it's a different world altogether. And we are fortunate to be part of this community, and we are fortunate to be part of Scindian fraternity, because there is something special about it. Something very, very Indian, something very, very simple, but very, very solid. And my fear is that in these insecurities, little insecurities, eclipse the beauty of being at the fort and spending the most precious time of their lives. That's it. I'm done.
thank you, sir. To give it a slight economics twist, as a teacher of economics, and my brother is an old boy, batch of 85, so I've been in touch with many Scindians all these years. In economics, we have a concept of scarcity. So if you've gone through the scarcity for a decade, you really value women when you grow up. And I think, that's right. So there's an old boy who's also a member of the Board of Governance. He nods at my suggestion. So that's the way it is. So, you go through so much of scarcity that you really tend to value. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this wonderful interaction. Thank you so much for your time, for your patience. Thank you so much, Mr. Bora, for your time to all of us. Thank you, Dr. Saraswat, also. On behalf of the school, if I could request Dr. Saraswat to please present a small token of her gratitude and thanks to Mr. Bora.
And all the best.
Good evening to all of you. Honorable Chief Guest of the evening, Mr. Mahesh Gandhi. Guest of honor, Mr. Arvind Vora. Guests, parents, teachers, and my dear students. A very good evening to all of you as we have gathered here for the 120th Founders Day celebrations of the school. It is my proud privilege to welcome our Chief Guest for the evening, Mr. Mahesh Gandhi, our illustrious alumnus, successful businessman, educationist, philanthropist, and member Board of Governors, the Scindia School. I also take this opportunity to welcome Mr. N.K. Tiwari, former principal of the school, next teachers, Mr. and Mrs. M.S. Bedi, Mr. B.S. Dheer, Mr. Lalendu Singh, Mr. and Mrs. D.N. Poshti, Mr. S.N. Upadhyaya. Ladies and gentlemen, this simple, unassuming gentleman sitting here is the chairman of the Industrial Development and Investment Company Private Limited. He is the director of several enterprises and is also connected with various religious, medical, educational and charitable trusts and social and cultural organizations. Most importantly, he is the torchbearer of our legacy and a befitting ambassador for all that we stand for as an institution. For us at Scindia, he is someone who has proven to be an investor for life, as he has given back to the alma mater in multiple ways. And if I started narrating his multifarious contributions, then it would take an entire evening. However, I must mention that it was Mr. Gandhi who was given the sole responsibility to design and release the postal stamp on Scindia School in 1997, the centenary year. The stamp was released on the eve of Founders Day, and Mr. Gandhi's contribution was acknowledged by the Department of Post in the brochure released with this stamp. Thank you, sir, for being with us this evening. It is always a pleasure to have you with us. Our guest of honor tonight is Mr. Arvind Vora, former country CEO and Managing Director, Gioni India. Mr. Vora is credited with creating a unique business model for Gioni and has been constantly building the sales and distribution infrastructure with a keen eye on brand building and making a robust support services network. However, today, I will not talk about his professional success story. I would rather focus on his success as a human being, as in these commerce-driven times, we have in him someone who expresses purpose in life which goes beyond earning money, fame, or success. Mr. Bora is the trustee of Leukemia Crusaders, an NGO which financially supports the treatment of children below 10 years who are battling this disease. The NGO has managed to sponsor 425 children in more than 10 hospitals across India. As a part of company's CSR initiatives, a certain amount from every GNE phone sold goes to the NGO. His leadership model too is inspirational as he ensures that all members of the GNE family are treated equally and accorded equal respect and dignity. Irrespective of their role and position in the organization, Mr. Bora, it is an absolute privilege to have you with us tonight, rather for the entire day. Thank you very much. Today being Parents' Day, let me also take this opportunity to reach out to the parents. First of all, thank you very much for trusting us with your most valuable asset, your child. I would like to reassure you that your ward is a part of an exceptional learning community. We teach your children, or may I say our children, to seek excellence over mediocrity, yet we also prepare them to take a few knocks with grace and rise up each time. At Scindia, the students are encouraged to care for others by becoming global citizens, and they develop a concern and active respect for the environment. In short, our endeavor is to prepare the Scindians to flourish in the dynamic, competitive, and challenging global environment of the 21st century. However, to achieve all this and for the greater common good of your child, I seek your wholehearted cooperation. Being a vibrant learning community, we believe in an open door policy, hence the school academic, pastoral and administrative team looks forward to meeting parents not just during the officially designated parent-teacher meetings like the one held today morning, but at any time in the course of the amazing journey that your ward is undertaking with us. I would like to reiterate that your interest in your children's work and your presence in the school are vital to foster a culture of excellence that we are aiming at. We are aware of the fact that all involvement depends on foundation of good communication. Hence, we have very thoughtfully worked out forums where you can share your concerns and opinions about school. I give you my word that we will proactively address those concerns. On my part, I do keep writing to you on a regular basis to apprise you of all developments at the school front and also to share our expectations from you. My sincere hope is that you have been keeping yourself updated about school events through our newsletter and website, and been using the e-portal to monitor the educational journey of your child. While we do have a parent representative on the board who is a conduit for sharing parental expectations and for bringing greater clarity on school policies, nevertheless, I would urge all of you to devote your time, expertise and experience for strengthening our hands to create a better learning environment. With this, I welcome you once again to the Parents' Day celebrations. The students and members of the faculty have worked tirelessly towards putting up a great show yet again. Hope you enjoy the cultural program, and I am sure going through the exhibitions will give you a peek into the diverse interests and abilities of the students tomorrow. Do enjoy every bit of the varied experiences that we wish to offer just as much as we did preparing for it. I wish you and your families a very happy Founders and a joyous Diwali in advance. Thank you very much and welcome once again.
नगर में चोर आवेगा, जागृत रहना दे नगर में चोर आवेगा, होशियार रहना दे नगर में चोर आवेगा, जागृत रहना दे नगर में चोर आवेगा, ओ चोर आवेगा एक दिन, ओ चोर आवेगा एक दिन, कांड आवेगा, होशियार रहना दे नगर में चोर आवेगा, जागृत रहना दे नगर में चोर आवेगा। ओ तीर तोप तलवार न बरछी न बंदूक चलावेगा, तीर तोप तलवार न बरछी न बंदूक चलावेगा, ओ अवध जात नजर नहीं आवे, अवध जात नजर नहीं आवे, भीतर घूम घुमाएगा, याद रहना दे नगर में चोर आवेगा, जागृत रहना दे नगर में चोर आवेगा।
You fool! Put it down right now!
Oh my God! He's going to cut off my head and suspend it in mid-air.
And what else did you do, Maharaj? I cut off your hands and feet and scattered them in the wind, you idiot! You cut off my limbs and scattered them in the wind. And what are you going to do next, Maharaj? I'll grind your skin and bones into a fine paste and then serve it to the dogs, you fool! I will be turned into minced meat and served to the dogs. And when are you going to do this, Maharaj? If I had it my way, I would have done it right away, you rogue.
But what do we do? We're on government duty right now. So many clothes, but they belong to your father.
They're not mine. Of course they're not yours. Whose are they then? My customers.
Your customers? Are you a dhobi then?
Yes, Maharaj. I'm an original dhobi. Why didn't you tell me earlier, you idiot? You didn't give me a chance, Maharaj. Alright, listen, sir. There's been a theft in this village. A golden platter has been stolen. If you've done so, just tell me. I won't report. We'll just share the booty. I don't steal, Maharaj. Good, good. You shouldn't steal, my son. Alright, listen. You go from house to house and you know everybody. If you get to know about the thief, just tell me and I'll give you a reward. A reward? Yes, tell me now. Give me the reward. First tell me. First the reward. You don't trust even a high-ranking officer like me. Here, take 10 rupees. I'll give you more later. Acha Maharaj, listen. He who's done this stealing is he. That I know. You know that? Of course. Then what are you waiting for? Go catch him. Who? The thief. I thrash you, idiot. Do I look like a thief to you? Son, I'm asking you for his name. His name? Yes. Maharaj, he who steals is only a thief. I don't know his name. Arey bhai Shyamlal, arey bhai Ramlal, please tell him that we know one who steals is called a thief. We just want to know about his name.
Arey Kanjoor Sarkar.
Hey, catch him. Help me.
Arey Sarkar.
What a wonderful feeling today. I recollect performing on this stage somewhere around 1956-57, Founders Day. And today again I am here to address before you. Guest of honor, distinguished entrepreneur Shri Arvind Vohraji, distinguished board members and my colleagues, Principal Dr. Saraswatji, ex-Principal Mr. Nirmal Tiwari, and respected old teachers, respected parents, children, faculty members, alumni, and SOBA members and respected guests. Good evening to one and all. What a lovely atmosphere and presence of this distinguished audience, especially the parents, children, and alumni. I am standing before you first as a child, parent, as a Scindian, an old boy, and above all, representing all of you. During our time, when I joined the school in 1953, we were around 250 boys in the entire school. And to the best of my knowledge, no such programs were held. And that's why this is a very special occasion for me. I joined the school in junior section in Jankoji House way back in 1953 and passed out in 1959. A lot of the parents and teachers were, I think, not even born. Since the school then has slowly grown from strength to strength. As a small child, around 8 years of age, like you, my parents, and like yours, left with the school escorts who came to receive us at VT railway station with the, traveling party. Me, especially I, had never heard when I joined the school before about Scindia, nor my parents. Now, today, you are so fortunate that your parents have brought you here. Now, the key word which I try to bring before you is the trust what our parents had put into the management of the school. You are very fortunate to have parents more concerned, knowledgeable, and absolutely alert about you. They have opportunity to visit the school, have a feel of it, and had wise choices before them, but have still chose to put you in this institution with a proper understanding. Again, the key word here is the total trust. It is rightly said, the child is the father of a man. Scindia is the platform for providing opportunities for grooming your child to father, to be a man. We as an institute are trying to expose the child to various non-curricular activities apart from academics, which also has a supplementary and a complementary role to play in the grooming process for the child's holistic development. Now, I am standing before you as a man, being your image of future. I had never dreamt this before, that I would be a trustee, a board member of this great institution. But I feel, when I pinch myself, that is it the reality? And this is what you see, the future of image of you. We together, as parents and administrators, have variety of concerns and issues before us. Needs to understand, address them together as a team, as we have a common goal in the interest of the stakeholders, and sure that together we shall achieve it. Ours is a long journey and a continuous one. We together has to complete in the Scindia vehicle, face and resolve the challenges that we on our way. Keyword is again here the trust, a mutual trust. You all around you, achievers in alumni in various fields. You also years back came into this role in what they are today as a role model. I, on behalf of the Board of Governors, Scindia School is thankful to all the parents for putting faith and trust in us and welcomes all of you into the Scindia family. And are also, especially I am thankful to the Principal Dr. Saraswat for giving me an opportunity to share these lovely moments with all of you. Wishing all of you a very happy, pleasant, happy Diwali and prosperous coming year. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you, Dr. Saraswat, for having me here. And I'd just like to share that a couple of days back, you did visit my office. And I was wondering, what am I going to do on a Founders Day of Scindia? But you know, this institution has always been a kind of mystery for me. And I've kind of solved that mystery mentally within myself today. Very warm welcome to all the parents, governing body members, students, past teachers, past principals. Very good evening to all of you. Something which I shared with the parents in the morning, and this is what I would want to share with you again. And as Mr. Gandhi said, This relationship between a school and a parent and a student is purely based on trust. Actually, when we send our kids in the morning and they come back in the evening, we're all bothered. But, you all have lion's heart to actually send your ward out across to stay in a different place where he probably cannot tie his shoelaces or wear his belt properly. So hats off to the lion's heart that you all have in trusting your wards, and hats off to the people in this institute for building careers. I'm going to be a little, I would like to relate this to the way the country is emerging today. We stand on a global platform. India is, I would say, an enterprise, an organization, a country which has been looked upon by everybody across the world. This country needs leaders. This country needs entrepreneurs. This country needs industrialists. This country needs various professions as you go along. So I think Scindia School or the Scindians would be an important force in propelling the growth of India. That's something which I'm very, very convinced with what I saw throughout the day. More importantly, it makes me feel that, the values, or something which I spoke in the morning, the core values of an institute should get embodied in every student as they go along. And for the benefit of those who I did not meet in the morning, I would always talk about being happy. I would talk about being fearless. I would talk about succeeding. I would talk about decision making. And last but not the least, looking at the country, looking at issues which are beyond you. So once again, Dr. Saraswat, thanks a lot for having me here. And as I've always said, I'm one guy who goes back to his teachers on 5th of September. I'm 47 years of age, graduated out of school in 1987. But in the last 30 years, out of all the teachers that I have, 6 of them are alive. And I make it a point to call them up and tell them, thanks a lot, ma'am, for shaping our lives. To all the students here, I would actually, tell you that these are the best days of your life. Enjoy them. And at the same time, you carry the responsibility of building the nation. Once again, thanks a lot for having me here, and thanks a lot for putting me face to face with young India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Chief Guest, Mr. Mahesh Gandhi, Senior Board Member of the Scindia School, Mr. Arvind Vora, Managing Director, GIONI India, dignitaries, parents, teachers, and my fellow Scindians. Today we gather here on this auspicious occasion under the starry night for the 120th Founders Day celebrations at the Scindia School. And it is my pleasant duty to propose the word of thanks this year and acknowledge all those who have made this Parents' Day a wonderful memory. Today, before us, sit two very accomplished, experienced, and important men. People who have inspired two very different generations, each in his own way, and have been able to carve a niche for themselves to deserve and conduct our utmost respect. Mr. Vora and Mr. Gandhi. Apart from their varied fields of interest and profession, the one thing that is similar between them, apart from the good looks of course, is the fact that they are determined to achieve their goals and contribute towards society. As Winston Churchill once said, and I quote, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that actually counts." I unquote. It is this very courage that pushed our Mr. Gandhi to head some of the premier institutions of our country and run a successful business empire. It is this very courage that allowed Mr. Vora to establish a company in India that brings a turnover of 9,500 crores in 2016. And it is this very courage to achieve perfection that has made this night such a beautiful one. I would like to thank all our dignitaries, parents, old boys, former teachers who are here with us today. I hope it has been an apt start to this year's celebrations. Thanks are due to all the teachers and staff members whose tireless efforts and support have brought out the best in each and every student. I would like to express my gratitude to the administrative staff who work day and night to make this event successful. Lastly, I would like to thank the student body for working hard and making this evening so special. It is not every day that a 17-year-old student gets to address such accomplished men and women at an event held at a 120-year-old school in front of thousands of people. But that is Scindia. It puts you in the most improbable of situations and gives you the tools to handle it skillfully. And sometimes, just sometimes, it creates a moment of pure magic, pure beauty, just like tonight. Thank you, good night, and long live Scindia.
Shore